Hello, this is Julia Bushkova, and today I am going to go back to the scale routine that many of you watched and a lot of you liked. That was my student, Polly Klein, playing a 4-octave G major scale, as we say, with everything else. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. Okay, so what Polly is doing there, she's a very advanced player. Therefore, she is playing a 4-octave G major scale. Today, however, I will address the issue not of the 4-octave scale, but about the concept of how we play scales and what we do on them, how we use them for other goals. Okay, so this is, I think, a very new idea for many of my viewers. I got a lot of comments asking for a book, like what method she's using. Some people wrote that this is a method of Elizabeth Gilels. Some people put forth some other guesses. It isn't. It isn't anybody's method. Actually, it's just playing a scale and then using Bowings, which we usually train on those scales, and then showing them because she now plays them well since she trained them. So here we go. I will not right now show you 4-octave scale. It's too hard for many people. We'll do it separate video. But right now I will show you how we actually build it up from the early age stages and on. Here we go. I will take G major scale, but my G major scale, like most beginners or intermediate players, will be in 2 octaves in the first position. No stress for the left hand. And yet, we still have to learn to play that left hand. So for the beginners, it's absolutely necessary to play with a whole bow, okay? One note, one bow per note, whole bow. And so on. It will take me a long time to go to G, and then go back in this very slow tempo. But yes, you go all the way, you watch your bow, you see that bow stays in the same place and all that. Left hand is so far so good, easy. Then we accelerate the tempo, we go to 2 notes per bow. And so forth and so on. Again, G, and then on the way back, you can use open string or 4th finger. It's up to you. It's permissible either way. Okay, then we accelerate the tempo. I would go to 4. And back. Okay, so then after this, if you're ready, we accelerate some more. We'll go to 8 notes per bow. And if that is going well, and you can gradually accelerate into next tempo, the final tempo will be on 1 bow, which is, in this case will be 16 notes, we will call it. So right now on the way back I didn't use my 4th, I used the open string. Again, as I said, it's interchangeable. Okay, so now your left hand is in a good working order. It goes pretty fast. Of course, it can still go faster, but let's stop in here right now. And now I think, okay, great, I know the scale now. My left hand knows it, and that's what the main thing is in the scale. It's a left hand. And then now I will be training my détaché bowing using that scale. So I will go to my tempo, let's say, of 4 notes per bow. And then here I will start an up bow. And so what I'm doing here is I'm looking for good sound, not wavering from my contact point and sounding good, but I accelerate the tempo. My left hand is ready. I'm going to the tempo of 8 notes per bow now. Okay, so that will be 8 notes per bow before my left hand. And the fast one was this kind of tempo. So let's go in this tempo now in Détaché. Okay, so that's not hard, it's pretty easy. Détaché is good. Now we move to another bowing. What other bowing? As I recall, Polly, I think, did dotted bowings right after that, but you don't need to go there. You can go to martelé, for instance. In fact, if you are not as advanced as she is, she can go any bowing in any progression. But for more intermediate players, beginning intermediates, I will go to martelé. So martelé will be this one. Again, we're going to slower tempo. And so forth until you get to that G and then back. So again, you can do even slower tempo, because in martelé, most important thing is the rest, that you actually release the bow in the rest. So if necessary, you go that slow and so forth, okay? But with time, you will accelerate, of course, and you will get to the tempo. So that will be the martelé. Let's go to now what she was doing as a dotted rhythm bowing, and that will be the hooked or the hooked bowings. Actually here, okay, let me see. At first, when we work on this bowing, when we're younger players, we are not going to change all the fingers like she did. We are going to do it repeating the notes like this. You understand why? Your left hand is slower. It gives you time to process the clarity of the movement in the right hand, and that's what you're using it for. Once you're ready, you went all this way scale and back, and all your releases are good, and you don't do this. Doesn't sound like that, right? Sounds much better. So then you can start changing notes, right? And playing this bowing. Another dotted rhythm bowing that Polly was using was what I call the Sibelius concerto bowing, and that is the bowing that goes like this. So this one is played closer to the tip. It's a very advanced bowing, so if you're not an advanced player, just don't go there. Don't use it yet at that point. If you are an advanced player, then you probably know what to do with this, and I won't explain it in detail right now, but that's what she was using as a second dotted bowing. It's this one. Again, at first you can do on the same note twice, like this. So that's the version, the easier version, and when the bowing is happening, then you can go to changing again the bows and fingers. And the same thing on the way back. Okay, other bowings. Staccato. Staccato, we can start staccato, of course, we start in slower tempo first, and then we go down bow staccato. Okay, and then, or we can start up bow staccato actually, and then go down on a second bow. Okay, so that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is sort of kind of closer to Kreutzer number 4, which we usually do when we start, and that is to use some rhythm. So that way you are just training the up bow staccato, then you can change the bowings and do just the train the down bow staccato. So G will be on up bow, and then the rest. Okay, so the rest will be on down bows. However, that is to prepare us to play actually without these intermediate notes, and just to play them. So again, when your staccato is better, you increase the speed and you go faster. So then in 2 octaves, you can just go the whole 2 octaves up, down bow, and then up. And then you got your staccato done. Next bowing that she was training, first training and now then demonstrating on the scale, was spiccato. And spiccato I would do in slow tempo first. I teach spiccato starting on the string with a collé principle. So in that case it will be. So this is closer to your hand. I start each note on the string and I take it off the string. Again, I have the video of this, it's over there. I'm sure you can watch it and just to see the principle, what I use. In any case, again, 2 times each note because it's a hard bowing and you know the scale, the left hand is basically resting. Then we go each note. So then I accelerate the tempo, okay? So I will play a little bit with acceleration. So this is, of course, I won't recommend that you will do in practice, which is accelerate during one scale. I would accelerate each repetition of the scale a little bit faster tempo, a little bit faster. So when you go faster, obviously you stop doing this clear beginning and it becomes more this bowing when you allow the bow to go like this. And the last bowing that Polly was doing there was sautillé. Again, sautillé, it's the way I and many other people call very fast spiccato, which is pretty much all the bounce and not controlled. And again, she was doing 2 notes, double sautillé. And I will even show you 4 notes, 4 times on the same note. That's recommended to the beginners and intermediate players. So like this. And the same way back. Then you cut it to 2. So this is each note 2 times, and then you go in the tempo. Now, do you need to see that, so that you did play into this tempo when you played on the slurs, right? If you did, then you can do this in spiccato, in sautillé, sorry. Okay, so that will be a regular sautillé, each bow, just one note per bow. Okay, so that is the routine that you saw. In Polly's case, it was for 4 octaves, but she did train these things first on 2-octave scale when she was younger, then on 3-octave scales when she grew up a little bit more, and then finally in 4-octave scales. Is it written anywhere in Russia? No. No, there's just no books. No books. We just are told in our lessons that, okay, you play the scale, so now play the scale this way, play it in détaché that way. Our teacher shows, just like I showed you. Now then they say, okay, now we'll play that in a martelé like this, just like I showed you. And then we practice that. And then it becomes the routine, okay? And then you are either asked to perform it in an exam, like Polly did. For us, basically, it's a performance at an exam, or you just practice it yourself and do the best you can. This is all for today. I hope that this has clarified some of your questions about the scale routine, and you will subscribe and like if you haven't yet, and I will see you all later.